morning, everyone. I, Dr. Teenam Bora, welcome you all to the third edition of Cineast International Film Festival of India, SIFI 2021. SIFI 2021 is the world's first 7-day hybrid film festival organized by educational institutes of two countries, DME Media School of Delhi Metropolitan Education, Delhi NCR, India, in association with School of Communications and Creative Arts, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. The first edition of SIFI was held in April 2019 and the second was organized in December 2020. It has been our privilege to be associated with Deakin University during the previous editions of our film festival as well. This time, with the theme of cinematic rejuvenation, #Cinema 2021, SIFI is being organized in a hybrid mode to serve as a beneficial platform for beholding the new methods of viewing and studying cinema during the challenging times of the pandemic. It is a matter of pride for us that SIFI 2021 has received a submission of 3,130 films from a total of 111 countries. This film festival is bringing along 21 sessions with 70 experts through 11 panel discussions, 2 curated sessions, 2 masterclasses, 2 workshops, 2 special sessions, and 2 special segments. Mr. Tigmanshu Dhulia, National Award-winning film director from Bollywood, is the festival ambassador for SIFI 2021, and we are extremely thankful for his constant support. The festival partners of SIFI 2021 are Cover Drive Productions, a Noida-based production house, Vigyan Prasad, the organizer of National Film Festival of India, NSFFI, International Film Festival of India, ISFFI, and India International Science Festival, IISF. CMS Vatavaran, Environment and Wildlife Film Festival and Forum, Kids Cinema 2020, an online international children's film festival, Culture Cinema, a concept-based film festival aimed at celebrating world cultures, We Care Film Festival for promoting and exhibiting films on disability, Delhi International Film Festival for screening films amidst heightened deliberations on world cinema. From Australia, our esteemed list of partners includes Asian Media and Cultural Studies Network and Australia-India Film Practitioners and Researchers Network. Our institutional partners are Global Media Education Council, an international platform of media educators and researchers, Indian Documentary Producers Association, an association of documentary filmmakers, Indian Academy of Shorts, an institution for imparting craftsmanship of filmmaking through small capsules, and New Delhi Film Foundation. Our media partners are APN News, a fast-paced current affairs web channel, Hindi Gaurav, one of the oldest Hindi newspapers in Australia, and the Policy Times, an international platform for unfolding policy and governance issues. I'd also like to inform everyone that SIFI 2021 is powered by SPARK, the Student Council of DME Media School. Journalism at DME is the official newsletter of DME Media School. This fortnightly publication covers all the major activities happening in and out of the campus. It is a student-centric newsletter carried out entirely by them under the supervision of faculty members. DME TV is the official YouTube channel of DME where you can find the playlist related to all sessions, lecture series, film festival and conference. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that for various sessions, we will go live on our official Facebook page of DME. For more information, follow us on our social media handles. Links are being given in the chat box. Today, we will be screening 86 films from the category of short films. You can watch them all on our website, sifi.dme.ac.in. Now, I request Professor Dr. Amresh Saxena, Festival Director and Dean, DME Media School, to kindly give the opening remarks.
Thank you, Tina. So I welcome everybody in this session on the fifth day of the film festival, SIFI. So as has already been told, we have entered the third year, and in this 7-day festival, last year we converted it from 4 days to 7 days because it was in the hybrid mode, and holding more than one session simultaneously was not possible, which we normally do in the physical mode. but it's still we created last year only, and the same is happening. We created two platforms, wherein on one platform there is a constant streaming of the films that we have received, the selected films. So during these 7 days time, 400 plus films are being screened. So that's happening, that's live streamed on one platform, and on the other platform we are having all these sessions which are again being live streamed. And normally on a day we are holding 3 sessions. So after this, 2 more sessions will be happening, and I'm happy to even tell you this, that the kind of sessions that we have planned are completely unique and with innovative ideas. Like immediately after this, in the afternoon in India, we are having a session on gaming, which is being conducted by two most prominent experts of animation and gaming in India. And in the evening, we are having a session on children's film festivals, children's films basically, in which the experts are joining right from Greece to Brazil to Canada, Iran, and all. So we are trying to do our utmost to give it a truly international festival, wherein people are joining from all over, and we are discussing the topics which are normally in the forefront of films and cinema. And since this is a collective endeavor, this is a collaborative endeavor between India and Australia, and DME has associated with the Deakin University, Australia, thanks to Dr. Vikrant Kishore, and that is how we are finding so much Australian flavor and Australian Indian flavor in this festival. So I finish with this because we are looking forward to listen to the speakers who are there in this. Yesterday only there was a discussion on a feature film, and today we are having this discussion on documentary film. So this give us a very, very clear idea as to what kind of film production activities are happening in Australia, which are equally important to us sitting in India. So thank you all, and over to you, Tina.
So today in this session, we are going to witness this panel discussion with the people behind a very special feature-length documentary, Geeta, which is set in the back streets of Agra's slums and follows one woman's journey who is fighting for a better life for her 3 daughters. So before moving ahead, I'd like to give a small summary of the documentary. So married at a young age, Geeta found herself in an abusive marriage and continually harassed by her husband and in-laws for giving birth to girls. Geeta and her 3 daughters' lives were changed forever when her husband, egged on by his family, plotted and carried out an acid attack that critically injured Geeta, blinded her young daughter Neetu, and killed her newborn baby girl. Ostracized by her community and disowned by friends, Geeta pulled herself away from the brink of suicide and found the courage to fight for justice for herself and daughters and build a new life for all of them. From being forced by social structures and property laws to remain living with her husband, to finding a way for her daughter Neetu to have life changing eye operations, to becoming an independent and respected leader of the women of her community, Geeta's story is wildly courageous and a stunning reminder of the power of love to create real and lasting change. So, this panel discussion today is going to be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Kishore. Dr. Kishore is a filmmaker and an academic at Deakin University. Currently, Dr. Kishore has been capturing stories of cultural flows and its impact on Indian diaspora in Australia. Dr. Kishore likes to integrate traditional cultural practices with new media technologies to archive, create digital exposition, collaborate on multimedia media exhibitions and festivals. He has authored and edited books on Indian cinema, celebrity culture, and intangible cultural heritage. He has been a jury member of various film festivals. Dr. Kishore's areas of research are Indian cinema, intangible cultural heritage, reality television programs, casteism, and discrimination. He is a member of the Regional Advisory Council of the Victorian Multicultural Commission. Sophia, you can
Next,
introduce.
we have Emma Maxey Storch, a multi award winning Australian director producer of documentary animation and fiction. Over the last decade, Emma's film have screened at international film festival around the world and featured on multiple broadcast platforms. Originally working in community development and social impact, Emma is known for collaborative nature of her documentary process and her commitment to telling stories that get to heart and complexity of an issue. Her first feature film, Geeta, tells the story and acid attack survivors, Geeta and Neetu, and offers a rare and empowering glimpse into their world as they fight for a better life for themselves and other women across India. We also have with us on the panel Ms. Neetu, who is acid attack survivor, activist for the prevention of gender-based violence, a co-founder of Shero's Hangout Agra, and one of the main subject of documentary Geeta. Her story is one of the incredible journey towards leading change in her community. The unbreakable love, mother and daughter, and chasing your dreams against almost impossible odds. Neetu is now in Australia working to raise awareness of gender bias and its long-term impact on women and girls. I request Dr. Vikrant Kishore to take over the session and start the discussion.
Before that, Sophia, I was also about to introduce Naina Bhandari, who is the founder and executive director of one of Australia's leading Indian cultural organizations, the Urja Foundation, and an emerging Australian film producer with a keen interest in telling local and international stories from an Indian and South Asian perspective. Since 2010 to 2014, Naina has been involved in the creation of multiple films, TV and radio content. Also qualified as a social worker dealing specifically with family violence, Naina was recognized as Hume Citizen of the Year 2017 for her work with Australian South Asian communities. Welcome, ma'am, and welcome all the panelists. Now it's over to you, Vikrant sir.
Yeah, thanks, Tinam, and thanks, Sophia, for the warm introduction and warm welcome. And before I start, I would like to recognize the various traditional lands where we are located and acknowledge the elders, past, present, and emerging. I acknowledge the land, waterways, and airways of the Wurundjeri people and pay our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people. I also acknowledge the struggles of Dalits and Indigenous people of India. It is good to be back once again with an interesting panel. As a documentary filmmaker, nothing excites me more than to talk about documentaries, especially one that aims not only to educate or create awareness, but also wants to drive a social change. Today, we focus on one such film, Geeta, which is a mother's heartfelt attempt to change her daughter's destiny and challenge social norms. Violence against women in India, especially, of course, it's a problem across the world, but in India, it's a huge problem. One will find the news of acid attack on women on a regular basis. ABC reports, according to Tanya Singh, the CEO of Make Love, Not Scars, about 300 cases are reported each year, but the real figure is probably closer to 1,000. So you can understand the kind of huge problem this whole acid attack is in India, and especially I would say in South Asia rather. But the struggle for the acid attack survivors starts after the attack. This is a very sensitive topic and can be distressing as well. But this is something which we not only need to talk about, but try and do something about. Emma and Naina's chance meeting and interaction led them to Agra to explore the story of Geeta and Neetu. And we are really thankful to Emma, Naina, and Neetu who could join us today and talk about the film. I will request the audience to put in any questions they want to ask in the chat box, and we will take that during the Q&A session. And before I start the discussion, I'll show a teaser of the film Geeta just to set the stage for the discussion. So just.
उस समय बहुत अंधेरा था जब भी वो आयो फिर वहाँ हम तीनों पे तेजाब डाल दो कि मेरी लड़की बस कहती मम्मी मैं कुछ देख नहीं पाई, सब कुछ देख ली, मेरी यही इच्छा। मुझे अपनी बेटियों से सबसे प्यार है। जो मेरी जो 2 बेटियां हैं पूनम और राखी, मुझे पता है वो अपने दम पे जीवित रह सकती हैं। तो मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि मेरी लड़की अपना काम खुद ही कर ले, किसी के सहारे नहीं रहेगी।
कारण ये कि सरकार तब नहीं सुनती जब जनता नहीं सुनती है। जनता सुनने लग जाती है अपने आप, जनता सरकार को, जनता ही सरकार है। बहुत रखती है, खूब बढ़िया उद्यापन है वो, और घर में बैठी हूँ पक्के में, और कोने कोने में नामे शुरू से बजाते।
यहाँ से ताजमहल दिख रहा है वो देखो सामने,
उसकी परछाई भी नहीं दिख रही मेरे को।
लेकिन एक हम रिस्क लेते हैं कि हमें डर लगता है कि जो तुम्हें थोड़ा बहुत दिखता है इस आंख से, कहीं ऑपरेशन में उसमें भी दिक्कत ना हो जाए।
रह सकती है, हिम्मत होनी चाहिए उस औरत के काजे, बिल्कुल नहीं डरे, और हिम्मत होनी चाहिए, और अपनी बातें बिल्कुल जब का कि मैं अपने अंदर हौसला होना चाहिए, डरे नहीं बिल्कुल किसी से।
That was a very powerful teaser, and that brings me to start the discussion here. And again, welcome Emma, Neetu, and Naina. So my first question, and I'll then move on to, first I'll start with Emma, and then I'll move on to Naina, and then Neetu se baat karenge. So first question to you, Emma, and it is about how did you come about this film, and what was your vision, your perspective, and why did you take on this particular project?
So I'm a survivor myself. This is a very, very important issue to me. And by chance, I actually met Nana in about 2012, actually, on another project where she was actually the subject of a short documentary that I was making. And in that time, we managed to connect and have discussions about our own observations and experiences of family violence in our networks and our communities. And this led us to actually decide that we actually wanted to create a film together with the intention for this film to have a social impact, so that it wouldn't just be a film, but it would be a resource for us to be able to open up conversations across the world with all sorts of communities. We started off, we went to India together. We had about 4 different leads for different stories. And the last one on our list was Shiro's Hangout. And we actually went thinking maybe we wanted to focus on how we could tell the story how people that have experienced family and gender-based violence and use their trauma to create change. And on that first meeting, when we got there, only Neetu and Geeta were actually at the cafe, and we got talking, and then we went back to their house that evening. And that's where really, for me as a director, that really shook me up, the difference between that sort of the public face of change and activism and the real revolution that's happening every single day in someone's home, and realizing that that's where all change happens, is really led. We can have all the laws in the world, but unless people are willing to live by them, that no change happens, but the change happens family and household by household. So I was just really struck by Geeta and Neetu's incredible power and strength and resilience to wake up over 25, 28 years and make the decision to try and move their lives forward. And not only for themselves, but also for other women and other girls. And I realized Shiro's Hangout is only a fraction of their story. And so for me, that was the true inspiration, was an intention for the film to be a resource and a conversation starter, but also to celebrate these incredible 2 women.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I think you have, captured the story quite beautifully in there. I would like to ask Naina and about, how did Naina think of this particular idea, and how did she brought this idea to share with you, and how the journey of her as a producer. And of course, there's so many topics that comes from India, and lots of times it's a personal experience sometimes that one gets attached with, or there is some kind of background to it. So I would like to know more about, how this whole idea came about and how she met Emma, and yeah.
Thank you, Vikrant and everyone. That's a very nice question, I must say, because I can say that that's the opening up not only me as a producer, more like as a human being as well. And in regards to getting back to your question, I must say that when I arrived in Australia, before that, like any middle class girl, I have seen a lot of eve teasing. I've gone through a lot of male, female, gender patriarchal issues. And I always say that I was blessed at my family, but then when I talk about the society where we live in, I have seen that a lot. And anyways, I just came to Australia, and I was surprised to see that how big this issue is, not only in Australia, but globally. And during my that observation and my those years of starting my life in Australia, in few years, I able to get started with Urja Foundation. And because my I am a social worker, so I work day in, day out with a lot of family violence victims in here. And that has always keep me uneasy within that. A lot of my time actually goes into intervention, whereas I really want this issue to be dead in the society, and how this can happen. And during my those wandering years, I met Emma, and we were we had a lot of chais together, and we had a lot of discussions around how we want to make this change. Because as an Australian, she has felt that, and as an Indian, I have felt that, or maybe we really relate with each other more as a women. And we thought that there must be so many girls and women outside our own network, and we need to reach out to them, and we need a way. And in some of my initial years in Australia, I was involved in some of the story making and some of the community channels. So I somehow always relate with the power of video, with the power of movie making. And Emma, being an expert into it, it's more about bringing your strengths together, and that happened. So because we both were thinking from the same point of view, that the common, the core of our work was very much around, we want to make that change which is needed. And movie making is one of the process, because then it leads to that reaching out to the community. So basically that's how this process has unfolded for me.
Thanks, Naina. Yeah, and that's very good of you to actually keep that kind of engagement between Australia and India, and to tell stories which really matters. And as a filmmaker, we always look around us as to what kind of story we want to pick up, and lots of things are that happens in India till date. I get interested in picking up those stories. तो अब हम मूव करेंगे नीतू से जरा सा हम बात करेंगे. तो नीतू, आप सुन सकते हैं मुझे? तो आपने तो इतना अच्छा काम किया हुआ है सारा, और प्लस आप तो एक एम्बेसडर भी बन गई हैं अब पूरा शीरोज हैंगआउट के साथ. तो आपके हिसाब से आप अपनी फिल्म में और अपनी फिल्म से क्या बताना चाह रही हैं, और लोगों को क्या मैसेज देना चाहती हैं, और आपका पूरा जर्नी भी बताएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा.
हेलो एवरीवन. 2014 में हम लोगों ने कैफे स्टार्ट किया था 5 लोगों ने मिलके, और हम लोग रन करने लगे थे. और हमने काफी सारा काम किया था एसिड की सेल को रोकने के लिए, प्रोस्टेक्ट्स वगैरह भी किया था, हमने धरना वगैरह भी दिया था, और बहुत सारे काम किए थे. और फिर 2015 में मेरे को एमा मिली थी शीरोज हैंगआउट में. जब इन्होंने मूवी बनाने की बात मेरे सामने रखी तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा था, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचना मेरे लिए इजी नहीं था. लेकिन जब मैंने फिल्म की बात सुनी तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा था कि ये जब ये मूवी बनेगी और इस मूवी को लाखों करोड़ों लोग देखेंगे, अगर उन लोगों में लाखों करोड़ों लोगों में से अगर 100 लोगों की थिंकिंग भी चेंज हो जाए, उनकी विचारधारा वहाँ पे बदल जाए, तो जो मैंने सर्वाइव किया है कहीं ना कहीं उसमें सफलता पा लेंगे।
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा काम किया। और यहाँ पर काफी सारे सवाल भी आना शुरू हो गए हैं। तो नीतू, आप ये बताएंगी कि जो एक सोशल चेंज की जो शुरुआत आप करना चाहती थी, और प्लस आप इंडिया से ऑस्ट्रेलिया भी पहुंच गई, तो आपने काम सिर्फ एक कंट्री में ही नहीं सीमित रखा अपना, आप एक दूसरे देश में भी अपनी बात को लेके आए। तो आपको ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आके कैसा रिस्पॉन्स मिला है, और इस बात को यहाँ पर लोग कितना समझ रहे हैं, और इंडिया तक एको हो रहा है कि नहीं ये बात?
एक्चुअली में होता क्या है कि मतलब अगर हम इंडिया की केवल बात करें तो इंडिया में हर साल 2 मिलियन लड़कियों को मार दिया जाता है, चाहे वो मतलब कोई सा भी वायलेंस मतलब हमेशा फेस कर रही होती है वो, एंड मतलब कोई सा भी वायलेंस होता है। और पूरे विश्व की बात करें हम तो मतलब 2 बिलियन लड़कियां मार दी जाती हैं। तो ये है कि ये मूवी हाँ मतलब जो लोग देखें और जहां जहां भी ये मूवी जाएगी तो बस मेरा ये मकसद है कि उनकी विचारधारा में चेंज आए। और क्या बोलते हैं, जैसे कि जो लड़कियों को मार दिया जाता है, उनके राइट खत्म कर दिए जाते हैं, कोई समाज में उनका अधिकार नहीं है और उनकी कोई लाइफ नहीं है, तो उन लड़कियों के खिलाफ एक जागरूकता हो, लोग उनका सम्मान करें और ये चीज हम सीख पाए कि कहाँ से वायलेंस शुरू होता है और कहाँ पे हम वायलेंस खत्म कर पाए, एंड कर पाए। ये मैटर नहीं करता है कि हम अमीर है कि गरीब हैं, क्या हमारा बैकग्राउंड है, ये मैटर ही नहीं करता है। हर किसी के पास ताकत है, हर किसी के पास शक्ति है चेंज लाने की पूरे वर्ल्ड में, बस हमें अपनी अंदर की शक्ति को पहचानना है।
बहुत अच्छी तरह से नीतू आपने बताया ये बात, और उससे एकदम पूरी तरह से हम सब भी सहमत होंगे। अब मैं एमा से क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा। तो एमा, दिस इज द क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। सो व्हाइल फिल्मिंग दिस प्रोजेक्ट इन इंडिया, what were the challenges and opportunities? So firstly, let's talk about the challenges that you faced. Also it's a very kind of it's a story, and of course I understand that you had Naina to support you, but the kind of traversing between the caste class conflict and also the patriarchal society that is there. For you as an outsider who doesn't understand that kind of intricacy that takes place in Indian society, what was your way to embed it into that kind of structure and understand how that operates, and how you explored in your film?
So yeah, because I'm a survivor myself, I think that was the common thing that I brought to this, is that I just wanted to actually tell the story from Geeta and Neetu's point of view, centralize the story, and actually maybe because I had some direct experience myself of trauma, of family and gender-based violence, that I kind of approached it like that. So in a way, because it's a universal issue, it transcends caste at times, although, and gender, it's the experience of a survivor. So as long as, even I resisted many times to kind of fall into the trap of the classic 3-act structure, that kind of colonial Western lens, and I just every time just focused on Geeta and Neetu and what their truth was, what their experience was, and I let that drive the narrative of the film. And by doing that, I think that we actually managed to find a deeper truth and a deeper understanding about the experience, so that it's never just sort of the violence happens, someone tries to seek justice, and everyone lives happily ever after. It's much more complex and nuanced than that. And all across the world, people have intersectional experiences of family and gender-based violence. And so there are things that are the same and things that are slightly different. So for me, it was just to I guess, focus on that. In terms of challenges, I didn't always have language support. So I guess intuition came in very strongly into the filmmaking process. And kind of like I started over 7 years, this was shot over 7 years. So I started to learn a lot about Geeta and Neetu's body language, and I knew when something was important. So I could just react intuitively. You know, so I guess, yeah, just coming back to that shared experience that we have, both as filmmaker and subject, was what helped us keep a focus. And, you know, there's lots of challenges, heat, language, you know, yeah, but yeah, finances, raising finances. But yeah, I think the thing is we came with an intention, we came with a commitment, and Neetu shares that vision that we have as well, and Geeta does. And I think that's why, even though it took 7 years, that yeah, that drove the film.
Yeah, I think finance, and it's always a big challenge for any documentary films. So that's there. My question is to Naina, and I'm also mindful that there are a few questions coming in from the audience as well. So this will be my last moderator's question, and then I'll be taking, in fact, in a way, we answered what the first audience question here about the difficulties you faced during making of Geeta. So Naina, why a kind of a Australia-India collaboration, you know, and so what was your perspective of bringing this story to the international stage? And do you think, if you are able to get any kind of support internationally, is there an understanding of this particular issue?
Yeah, well, coming at your first part of the question, I must say that first of all, I see myself as a woman, and then I'll see, because I'm born in India, and I've moved to Australia 13 years ago. So I consider both places as my home. And it's more about, like, you know, I really feel like that I need to work together, because that is my root, and that is my, like, you know, the world I'm living in. So I always want to work in connection to my roots. And that is the reason of picking up that story from India, because I think I'm culturally aware. I know the gaps in the society there, and there is not enough of the discussions around the issue existing in the country. And because I am sitting in Australia, so that gives me that clarity around what need to be discussed at a global platform. And considering this issue being a global issue, and sadly, we know that women is considered really unsafe in India. And I must say that it's not very different in other part of the world as well. So I think someone has to be a flag bearer. And because I am an Indian daughter, so I take that privilege that no matter it's a, like, you know, strong issue, no matter it's a hard issue, we need to get started. I definitely admit one fact, that I deal a lot with intervention cases here, and meet so many girls who are suicidal or who are on the verge of being, like, you know, in a very sad plight. So I really don't want that to happen. I really want, like, you know, powerful, happy stories to share. But then some of the social issues, like, you know, they always attract me towards them. And women empowerment, gender equality, family violence is one such issue. And now coming to the second part of your question, that can you just repeat that again for me? The second bit which you have asked.
I was wanting to know that how and why these kind of stories, how can they get support internationally?
All right. Well, see, I think anyone get, like, for example, we all watch Hollywood. We all watch, like, you know, at times we often watch movies which are completely in a different language. We doesn't even understand the language, and we don't even get the need of reading the subtitles, but we feel connected to them because being a human, emotion is the common element in all of us, no matter whether we live in Africa or we live in India. So this is a global issue, as I've been constantly talking about it. And Neetu and Geeta, they are the warriors. They are the heroes. They need to be celebrated. They need to be given that opportunity of coming out of such a hard life in such a strong, powerful, and advocated manner. So that is why I think this story needs to be acknowledged internationally and all the possible platforms, because it is not about like, you know, me being an Indian Australian. It is about a mother and daughter, a woman, and like, you know, how they have raised this issue and try to talk about it irrespective of lack of resources and lack of stuff in their life. So I think it will resonate with anyone in the world. So it needs to be seen and, you know, watched by everyone.
Yes, I agree with you, Naina. तो एक सवाल ये क्या कहते हैं ऑडियंस की तरफ से है, और नीतू मैं आपको ये पोज करना चाह रहा हूँ, और क्योंकि आप एक एक्टिविस्ट की तरह से काम भी करती हैं, तो इंडिया में एसिड बैन होने के बावजूद भी बहुत सारे दुकानों में अभी भी लोग एसिड खरीद सकते हैं। तो इसके लिए आपने मतलब आप इसके बारे कभी बातचीत हुई है, या कुछ इसके बारे कोई समाधान निकालने की कोशिश हुई है? तो कुछ अगर आपको आइडिया हो तो बताएं।
पूरी तरीके से तो इंडिया में नहीं बैन हुआ था, क्योंकि ये बोला था कि एसिड बिकेगा लेकिन प्रूफ पे दिया जाएगा, आरडी प्रूफ मांगा जाएगा, पूछा जाएगा कि क्यों चाहिए, क्या करना है ना। लेकिन मेरा मानना ये है कि एसिड बैन हो या ना हो, जब तक हमारे दिमाग से, माइंड से बैन नहीं होगा, जब तक कुछ नहीं हो सकता।
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा आपने एकदम कहा है कि जब तक ये दिमाग से नहीं जाएगा तब तक ये ऐसे वायलेंस कम नहीं होंगे। ये बहुत जरूरी है कि लोग इसको समझें और इस पर एक्ट करें। तो एक और सवाल है, और ये शायद आपने ये मूवी देखी थी, एक आई थी मूवी तकरीबन 2 या 3 साल पहले, छपाक। नीतू, आपने ये मूवी देखी थी, और एक उस पे कुछ आप कमेंट करना चाहेंगे कि उससे कुछ फर्क पड़ा था? अभी आपकी मूवी तो आनी है, तो
हाँ, मूवी से फर्क पड़ा था, लोगों की थिंकिंग में चेंज आया था। जैसे कि हम सिरोज की बात करें, तो जब सिरोज नहीं था, सिरोज खुलने से पहले मतलब लोगों का रिएक्ट था मेरे आस पड़ोस में। जैसे कि हम कहीं भी जा रहे हैं तो लोग मतलब कुछ भी कमेंट कर रहे हैं, और ऑटो में बैठाना लोग पसंद नहीं करते थे, शक्ल देखना नहीं पसंद करते थे। लेकिन सिरोज के बाद में बहुत सारा चेंज आया, मेरे समाज में चेंज आया जहाँ पे मैं रहती थी। एंड ऑटो, जैसे कि हम ऑटो में बैठना चाहते थे, लेकिन लोग मतलब हमारी शक्ल देख के नहीं बैठना चाहते थे। तो बहुत सारी चीजों में चेंज आया, लेकिन धीरे आया, पर चेंज आया। तो जो मुझे लगता है कि कुछ जब कैफे के बाद में चेंज हमने देखा, तो मैं भी मतलब बहुत शॉक्ड थी कि मतलब हम 5 लोगों के काम करने से इतना चेंज आ सकता है। अगर हम बहुत सारे लोग मिलके काम करेंगे तो क्यों ना बड़ा चेंज आएगा। तो मतलब ये है कि हमें जरूरी नहीं है कि छोटा एक्शन है या बड़ा एक्शन है, बस हमें एक्शन लेने की जरूरत है, तो चेंज आ सकता है और बहुत बड़ा चेंज आएगा। मेरा विश्वास है कि जो जितनी शक्ति यंग लोगों में है, आने वाली समाज को चेंज लाने में, वो उतनी मतलब मुझे नहीं लगती है कि होगा। क्योंकि ये मैंने सीखा मेरी मम्मी से। अगर मेरी मम्मी ने वहां पे मेरी थिंकिंग नहीं चेंज की होती, तो शायद मेरी भी थिंकिंग आज नहीं चेंज होती, आज मैं आपके सामने नहीं होती। तो वही है कि यंग लोगों से मुझे बहुत आशा है, और मैं विश्वास करती हूँ कि बहुत जल्दी चेंज आएगा, बस हमें एक्शन लेने की जरूरत है।
नहीं, बहुत बहुत अच्छा आपने बताया। और जैसे आपने शुरू किया ये शीरोज हैंग आउट, ये जो आगरा में आपका है, तो ऐसे और भी आप लोगों का प्लान है कुछ करने का आगे?
हाँ, सिरोज का तो नहीं खैर प्लान है, क्योंकि हाँ वही है कि सिरोज नहीं खोलेंगे। बस ये है कि ये चीजें खत्म हो जाए तो हमें सिरोज खोलने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े। ये चीज खत्म हो जाए, ये बैलेंस पूरा खत्म हो जाए, पूरी दुनिया से इसका एंड हो जाए, तो हमें सिरोज खोलने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े।
और ऐसे वायलेंस ज्यादातर देखा गया है कि फैमिली वाले बहुत ज्यादा इस पे करते हैं, तो आपका कैसा रहा है इस पर एक नजरिया कि आज ज्यादातर जो केसेस आप लोगों को पता चलता है?
यही है कि जैसे कि कहीं पे दहेज को लेके मतलब वायलेंस कर दिया, कि मार दिया कि ये बड़ी हो जाएगी तो इसको शादी कहाँ से करेंगे, दहेज कहाँ से देंगे। तो वही है कि लड़कियों के लिए तो मतलब बहुत सारे लोगों के मतलब इश्यूज होते हैं जो मतलब बनाए जाते हैं। तो वही है कि नजरिया सब जगह का अलग है। जैसे कि यहाँ के वायलेंस का अलग तरीका है, इंडिया के वायलेंस का अलग तरीका है, लेकिन वायलेंस हर जगह का होता है।
नीतू, आपका धन्यवाद। अब मैं दूसरा क्वेश्चन एमा से पूछूंगा, और ये ऑडियंस के क्वेश्चंस ही है जो मैं अभी पूछ रहा हूँ। So Emma, this is a question from audience, and this is from Tulsi, and she is wanting to know that making such platforms to create an awareness among the youth about these things, such as acid attack, do you think will it make any change or will it bring any change? So Emma and then Nayana can also respond to this question.
Isn't mic on, so otherwise don't turn mine on and it will be fine. Okay, so yes, I do think it can create change. And the reason why I think it can create change, if we look at the simple example of Malala's story, she's not unique in her experience exactly. Like there's plenty of girls that can't go to school, that are restricted, that face violence if they can't go to school. But it was her story, the power of her story, that now leads to 11 million more girls being in school since her story came out, because it mobilizes people, it creates empathy for people and understanding of what's required, and it challenges us to find ways within ourselves to take action. And you know, that can be small or big. So it, you know, for some people it can be making donations, for others it can be really getting stuck in and getting involved in movements that actually create change. And I think from what I can gather from what Neetu said already is also, it's about shifting thinking a number of degrees. So once we're self-aware and we're aware of the impact of our actions and our thinking, and when we take it onto our heart, that actually we see the consequences of that thinking, if we're challenged by films or stories, then slowly we can shift behaviors. And I really think that also with young people as well, for them to be able to relate and look at Geeta and Neetu's story and see that there is hope for change, because within the story you see in front of your eyes things evolve and change happening, even in the perpetrator of the crime, Neetu's father. And so I think when we have hope, we have a desire for change.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Nayana, over to you.
Well, I would like to add on that how we see change, it matters a lot. For example, from my understanding, nowadays change lies a lot towards communication, visibility. And if we really look out for inspiration in day-to-day life. So, you know, we really want to feel inspired, and that inspiration actually agitates to bring that change in us. And in regards to communication and visibility, when we pick up any issue, it needs to be visible in front of the world. Someone there should be present within the community who must say that this is an issue. So I think movies fulfill that purpose really well. And if I'll talk about Geeta, I think in Geeta documentary, Emma has very well described that issue. She has tried to bring that visibility out and about and try to share it, like, you know, through the power of lens, that why this is an issue and what are the after effects or community pressures on this issue. So that visibility and communication is very well explained in this documentary and many documentaries. I mean, I'm just talking in particular about Geeta. So I think what happened when you bring the right subject with the right communication and visibility and right change methodology behind it, it definitely inspires, whether a young one or whosoever would like to be involved into that journey. And I strongly believe that a change is possible, because in the end, change is very well a mental stage, a mindset, and that mindset at times take a longer process to get change, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, true, Diana, and I agree. And in a way that you also responded to the two questions which came in the chat box about can documentaries make change, social change? And there's also someone who's asking about Sushi Srivastava, that will they be able to change the mind of government and get them to make strong rules and regulation in support of women's safety? But I'm also aware that you are working on a social impact strategy, Emma. So can you talk a bit about your social impact strategy? Probably that feeds into that.
So yes, in terms of our social impact strategy, what we found were common experiences across nations. So if we just look at Australia and India, kind of systemic failures of the judicial system, a lack of knowledge and understanding within, with magistrates, judges, and lawmakers and governments about the nuances of family violence. So whether, the cultural differences or all sorts of, types of family violence that people can experience. So looking at that was one of the main things, is that the judicial system failed Geeta and Neetu very early on after the attack, and so did society in a way. So they weren't able to make decisions for themselves that they perhaps would have liked to have made. So they were forced to then return to live with the perpetrator of the acid attack. Actually, that isn't so far removed from the truth here in Australia either. So a woman leaves a violent relationship, for example, 8 times before she leaves permanently because there's so many failures. So our social impact campaign is coming at issues in 3 ways, looking at training and raising understanding in the judicial system, looking for different services like safe houses that can exist, and ways those can improve, and igniting young people to mobilize to be the next generation of change. So that's what we're trying to do through multiple ways: music, film, lobbying for law change, all sorts of things.
Yeah, and I can understand very well. It's not an easy task. There's so many things, and you just mentioned about music as well. And I got to hear the music that you created, where Neetu has given a voice to this particular, collaborative music, which you are going to release soon. Can you tell us a bit about that music and what you aim to do with that?
So one of my experiences of filming Geeta and Neetu over such a long period of time, and sometimes we would go for 6 weeks, at a time, and we went every year for 5 years, was that Neetu actually loves singing, and she sings old Bollywood songs on the train, in the bus, when she gets up in the morning. And for me, this became a potential second narrative, a layer of the storytelling, where I thought maybe after 4 years, I really think we should involve Neetu in the music and involve people that around her. So her best friend Atul as well is a songwriter, and actually bring that narrative forth. And so we have a small EP that will be coming out with the film that has a range of different music, from collaborations with hip hop artists to Neetu's own unique songs about the power of her mother's love to give her strength to run in her dreams. So very beautiful, very, very beautiful singing and lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sure look out for the music, and it will be good to share with the audience as well later on. So I'm just about to wrap up the session. तो नीतू, अब हम खत्म कर रहे हैं सेशन, तो आप जाने से पहले यहाँ के ऑडियंस को क्या बताना चाहेंगे? आपका क्या मैसेज है और लोगों से आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं?
मैं आशा करती हूँ कि आप सारे लोग, जब मूवी रिलीज हो तो सारे लोग मूवी देखें, और अगर आप लोग हम लोगों से कम्युनिकेशन करना चाहें आगे के लिए कि हम और क्या चेंज ला सकते हैं और क्या कर सकते हैं, आप लोगों के पास कुछ तरीके हो तो हमसे बात कर सकते हैं, आप हमारी वेबसाइट से जुड़ सकते हैं आप।
Vikrant, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Since we know that all these issues whether we call it the discrimination against women or the violence against women, in one way or the other, the gender-related issues are there all over. Maybe their level or their kind, type may differ from developing countries to developed countries. But since this is a documentary which has a connection between India and Australia, so can this be told to us, to the audience here? If we talk about, I mean, these two issues, discrimination against women and the violence against women, on these issues, what exactly is the difference on the ground as far as Australia is concerned and India is concerned?
Diana, would you like to take that?
Well, okay. So in regards to discrimination, like, when a child is born in India, we see that from the birth of a girl child, especially, there is very common female feticide that do happen also in Australia. Like, in community, someone figure out, because scans are common here. And once someone figure out that they have got a girl child, they never, some of them, they doesn't mind flying back to India and get the child aborted. So female feticide and infanticide is very common issue in India, which is somehow common in Indian community within Australia, whereas it doesn't exist that much as a part of Australian mainstream community. But when it comes to power and control, it's a very common, I can say, across the border. We don't have dowry in Australian culture. It's very prevalent in Indian culture. And Australian community, there is a lot of financial abuse that do happen. If I talk about Indian community coming into Australia, visa abuse is very common. But within Australian community, again, visa is not an issue. But then there is a lot of power control that happens across, like, in Australian, a cohesive control is very common, again, across Indian and Australian community. So there is a lot of intersectionality. There is a lot of overlap when we talk about family violence. And in discrimination, work-based discrimination is very common. A gender pay gap is a big issue. So that is very common. Patriarchal roles are very defined, and there are some overlap again in Australian community here and as well as in Indian community. So maybe because, like, I can say I live here, so I can define that easily, that this is very much Indian issue and this is very much Australian. But if you sit and talk about it or try to dissect that, you will clearly find out that it's very much a patriarchal mindset behind it, or gender inequality, which actually is, like, running from ages, which needs to break down. And would you like to add on more?
Yeah. I was also keen to know the issue of violence against women.
Okay.
The world, across the whole world, the statistic is pretty similar in every single country. 1 in 3 women will experience some form of gender-based violence in their lifetime. So it's only fractionally different from country to country, which speaks for all women and all girls. The other thing that I think that the Geeta film touches on, which perhaps isn't so visible in other stories, is that we actually have Neetu's father in the film, because obviously he's still been living with them all this time. And so we've been able to capture his journey and his struggles and understand his motivations and the thinking behind the attack, and understand it. So less creating one monster that does a terrible act, actually getting into the psychology and understanding all the things that led to that action within him as well. So this also becomes an issue for men about how they also respond to patriarchal systems, which I think is important to have. So you've got that balance of perspective in terms of, so one of the things that comes out is thinking about violence, having pressure to do violence is very, very different from doing violence and the moral injury you may carry as a result. And so this is a really, really interesting perspective in the film, what he's carried since doing the attack, and important conversations, I think. So yes, violence is everywhere. It doesn't discriminate. And the reasons why it happened are everywhere. And hopefully our film brings some insight into that whole thing, both from a male and female point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, but then if I ask you particularly about acid attacks, so is it peculiar to India or in other parts of the world it exists?
Yes, so when I was doing the research somewhere in between us filming this, I think it was 2017, there was 504 attacks in the UK. There's 1,500 attacks in Colombia, in South America. It's actually everywhere. Vietnam, Cambodia have high, even Australia, even though it's not reported, there's an actual blackout on, there are some small amounts of acid attacks in Australia as well.
I think Pakistan and Bangladesh, they also carry a very high number of acid attacks. Considering it's the convenience, I think, the availability of the chemical and the damage it can do to a person, so that is the main reason I think it is being excessively used.
Yeah.
In Bangladesh, they ended up framing very kind of stringent laws around acid attack and purchasing of acid and all. So that in Bangladesh, the numbers have gone down a little bit compared to India. So that has been, and probably in India, we lack that kind of laws around. So because I'm mindful of the time, so we have to wrap up soon. Probably, नीतू भी एक आखिरी सवाल है, हो सकता है आप जवाब नहीं देना चाहें तो नहीं भी दें, लेकिन जैसे एमा ने बताया कि आपके फादर भी फिल्म के एक पार्ट हैं और उसमें आपके फादर के बारे भी हम जान रहे हैं, आपने उनको कितना माफ किया और ऐसे जो क्या कहते हैं एसिड अटैक जैसे लोग करते हैं उनको क्या माफ करना चाहिए, आपके हिसाब से क्या, आपकी क्या राय है?
ये सवाल मेरे लिए मतलब बहुत मुश्किल होता है, क्योंकि एक तरफ मैं उनकी बेटी हूँ और एक तरफ मैं सर्वाइवर हूँ, तो मतलब मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है इसका जवाब देना।
नहीं, एकदम समझ में आ रहा है, तो ज्यादा बोलने की भी जरूरत नहीं है इसमें। थैंक यू फॉर दैट। और इस पर बहुत ज्यादा चर्चा हो सकती है, बहुत बात कर सकते हैं। वी कैन continue this discussion on various facets. There is not just one single aspect that we can talk about, but I would definitely congratulate the team of Geeta, and I would definitely like to not only personally watch the documentary, but I would hopefully, if by next year, if the film is available, then we would like to screen it in our film festival here in SIFI, and that will be really good and get students to engage with it. And lots of students are also interested in knowing how to make a documentary film with such a sensitive subject, and they want to understand how to go about it. So probably we should also organize a kind of a interaction with you all about, looking at the sensitivity, sensitization, awareness, ways to go about it, because it's very difficult. It's not just that you take a camera and walk onto someone's face that you are a victim or a survivor. And it has been, I've seen situations like that where people have been very insensitive, especially from the news media, where people, they don't respect people's privacy, or do not take consent, and they think that if they can easily create a newsworthy kind of thing for themselves. Anyway, I'm going to end the session here, and I'm going to go back to the host now to wrap up the session. Thank you. Thanks, Emma. Neetu, aapka bahut bahut dhanyawad, and thanks a lot, Naina, for joining us.
Now I would request Professor Dr. Susmita Bala, Head DME Media School, to give her concluding remarks.
Thank you, Sophia. This issue is very strong. Thanks to panelists. Gender discrimination is a big issue, not only in India, but in all parts of the country. Violence against women is very rampant in India. I think this is a case in most of the developing world. We need to fight this out. I really salute those women, Emma, Naina, and Neetu, who decided to make this documentary and to bring Geeta's story to the entire world. This kind of small efforts will go a long way in changing the perception of men towards women. यहाँ मैं एक बात कहना चाहती हूँ कि जो नीता ने कहा कि बहुत बड़ी शक्ति यंग लोगों के पास है और हम चेंज कर सकते हैं अगर सोसाइटी में, तो ये केवल और केवल यंग जनरेशन के साथ ही कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि उनके लिए बहुत सारे एवेन्यूज हैं, बहुत सारी जगह है, फिल्म मेकिंग या किसी भी तरह से आप इंडस्ट्री में आते हैं, प्रिंट में आते हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक में आते हैं, तो आपके पास ये सारी चीजें हैं जब आप सोसाइटी को चेंज करने के एफर्ट्स किए जा सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं। जहां तक वायलेंस खत्म होने की बात है, तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू एज्यूम कि वायलेंस खत्म हो जाएगा। कोशिश की जा सकती है, एफर्ट्स किए जा सकते हैं, केवल यही हमारे पास सोल्यूशन है। इस पर्सपेक्टिव में एक और बात मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि एजुकेशन की हम लोग हमेशा बात करते हैं कि एजुकेटेड पर्सन होंगे तो, और एजुकेशन गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड करती है तो इस तरह के केसेस नहीं होंगे। लेकिन ये सिर्फ एजुकेशन की बात नहीं है, ये माइंडसेट की बात है, लोगों के माइंड सिकनेस की बात है कि इस तरह के केसेस होते हैं, ना केवल रूरल एरियाज में या गरीब लोगों के बीच होता है। इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज, वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन, एजुकेटेड पर्सन्स के बीच में भी बहुत ज्यादा होती हैं। केसेस अगर हम प्रॉपरली सर्वे करें तो हमें वहाँ ज्यादा मिलेंगे रादर देन कि रूरल एरियाज में या गांवों में या झुग्गी झोपड़ी में। तो हमें कोशिश केवल ये देखनी है कि माइंड सिकनेस लोगों की कैसे खत्म हो, क्योंकि वो एजुकेशन केवल एक जरिया नहीं है। हो सकता है कि हम इस तरह की फिल्में बनाएं या और इस तरह के कुछ और एफर्ट्स करें कि सोसाइटी में कुछ चेंज ला सकें। तो थैंक यू, थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू। बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक था, बहुत अच्छा काम किया गया है। और जो विक्रांत जी ने कहा कि हम लोग इस फिल्म को नेक्स्ट अपने फेस्टिवल में स्क्रीन करेंगे और उसको फिर से डिस्कस करेंगे, क्योंकि अभी हमने सिर्फ छोटा सा एक प्रीमियर देखा है, प्रोमो देखा है। जब हम फिल्म देखेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली हमारे लिए डिस्कशन करने के लिए बहुत कुछ होगा। सो थैंक यू, थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू, थैंक्स टू ऑल पैनलिस्ट, and thanks to everyone present here.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to thank our panelists of this enlightening discussion. Thank you so much. I would like to extend my immense gratitude to the management of DME. Without the support of Mr. Aman Sahani, Vice Chairman DME, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh, Director General DME, and Dr. Ravikant Swami, Director DME, we would not be able to come this far. I also thank them for giving us this wonderful opportunity and the resources to execute the same. I am thankful to Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School, Festival Director SIFI, and Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Festival Director. Dr. Susmita Bala, Head DME Media School and Festival Associate Director, for their constant guidance and encouragement at every step. I thank our partners for collaborating with us in our efforts. My gratitude also goes to the student body of DME Media School, SPARK, student with positive attitude and resonating communication skills. I want to thank our jury members, Mr. Nimish Kapoor, Mr. Murtaza Ali, Ms. Supriya Suri, and Mr. Pankaj Rakesh for patiently and fairly watching all the movies and for giving their precious time and feedback. A special note of thanks to Mr. Manmeet Kaur, Mr. Shruti VS, Ms. Mudita Raj, Dr. Manaswi Maheshwari, Dr. Teenam Bora, and Ms. Sukriti Arora for their efforts and constant support and cooperation. I thank Dr. Krishna Pandey, Mr. Pramod Pandey, and Mr. Mohammed Kamil. For the media coverage, Mr. Sachin Nair, Mr. Sumantra Das, Mr. Yogesh Sharma, and Mr. Vishal Sahi for the digital and production support, Mr. Anmol Mehta for designing, and Mr. Abhishek Yadav for the IT support. I would also thank to the student team of SIFI who worked tirelessly facing all the challenges and obstacles of the pandemic to make this festival happen. I would also like to thank the student team of SIFI, the screening team, the documentation team, the social media team, and the technical team who have been working for the past 3 months to make this festival happen. I must thank all our participants who have contributed their creative pieces for this festival. Lastly, thank you, our attendees, for joining this session.